Hi, and welcome back to TOCA Backstage. This is Chris Wolf, the Executive Director of the Torrance Cultural Arts Foundation. It's a pleasure to have you back joining us, and today I am honored to be speaking with Joel Gaines, who will be performing in a studio cabaret in April, on April 5th and 6th. That's Friday and Saturday. The show starts at 7:30 with seating at 6:30 for dinner. Joel, it's amazing to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know how extraordinarily busy you are, but it's great to be able to talk to you.
My absolute pleasure, as always. I feel like the Torrance Cultural Arts Foundation is my home, a part of my home, because I've had the pleasure of performing there a few times now. So thank you so much again.
Well, it's kind of cool because I know that we first had you like when just shortly after I started, somebody had recommended you, and so we booked you for the concert in the cabaret, and people just loved your performance, so we had you back. And then we started this new thing where we actually had some of the people from South Bay's Got Talent join you with the band, and I have to tell you what an amazing experience that has been for these people. Most of them are younger performers who've never really worked with musicians of the caliber that you bring, but they just rant and rave about it, and you're so nurturing and kind to them, and helping them sort of get the feel for that. So I just want to thank you for that.
No, it's absolutely my pleasure, and I mean, because young people, of course, we've all been there, right? And so that's why I do definitely get enjoyment out of that, because it's basically giving back to some degree. And that's just who I am. But anyway, thank you so much for
that. So tell me, Joel, your bio is like, so you've been everywhere, you've done everything. How did you get into music? Where did you start?
Well, my dad honestly was a pastor, minister, and I basically started in church. I mean, because I started singing actually. At first, but of course there was a piano player there, and then once I saw that and discovered the piano, and it was, there was no stopping me. Yeah.
So that's sort of that's your, I guess your instrument is the piano, but do you play other instruments as well?
Well, I used to. In fact, my scholarship at college was as a trombone player, actually, and of course I gave up the trombone some years ago because I felt that the piano was enough work. I mean, in order to really do well in it, so I could just concentrate on one thing, man. But yeah, that's what I played, was the trombone, man. Believe it or not, I still love it though.
And do you still play?
No. Like I said, unfortunately I gave it up. I probably shouldn't have, but like I said, the piano to me was just a lot of work, and I wanted to put a lot of work into it. And since I started there, it was like, that's my instrument. In other words, that's my instrument. So that's what happened there.
Well, and you write a lot of the stuff that you do as well, correct?
Absolutely.
And where do you get like the inspiration for your songs? Does it just come naturally, or?
Now that's a really good question. I mean, being a piano player, I mean, I'm always at the piano, so of course, piano is an instrument that you can do just about everything on, in terms of writing and things of that nature. So to answer your question, I don't know. It just everything just seems to come sort of naturally. I mean, you have to work at it. A lot of listening and other artists and things like that, and of course studying some songwriting skills and things of that nature. But I think did I answer your question, Chris?
Yeah. How would you describe your music? Is it more like, because I've heard different people when they talk about your performances, they talk about this, that they like, some people call it smooth jazz, some people call it pop, some people call it just straight ahead jazz. How would you describe your music?
Well, I don't know. It's unfortunate, man, that we have to put ourselves in these categories, because I have really eclectic taste. I like all kinds of music. Let's describe my music, I don't know. Sometimes I want to say it's kind of world music because, you know, on the personal level, I mean, I love classical, I love jazz, I love good country, you know, I love good R&B, I love good pop. You know, for me, it just goes all over the place. But I guess just if people wanted to say, oh, well, he's like that, put him in the category. I guess it would be adult contemporary / jazz, you know, sort of.
That makes sense. And so you started in church doing the trombone. Did you pursue it throughout school, or did you find other things that you wanted to do in school?
Yeah, no, that was it for me. I've always been music person, Chris, since I can remember. You know, junior high, high school, college, and one time, I should have said at one time, I was playing piano for the chorus and playing trombone in the marching band. So, you know, I remember those high school days. So I had my hands full, but always a part of the music. You know, always the music. That's what my life works.
Now you like I said, you've played for some really big artists. I mean, I know off the top of my head, I can think of Tony Orlando, right?
Yep, absolutely. Tony, Gladys Knight, Temptations, well, when I put it on the famous jazz people, jazz singers for years, and oh man, I don't know, just it's been a crazy ride, Chris.
Well, and you've toured like internationally, because I know that at one point I heard that you were in Japan and China, and I mean you go all over the places. Is there like, if you had if you could take and make like the perfect experience with all the artists that you've performed with and all the places you've been, what would be the perfect concert? I mean, what artist and what country would you pick?
Wow, man, I don't know. I don't know. It's probably uh oh God, I love Sting. I think he's amazing. Maybe somebody like Sting or something like that. In probably two different countries, I would say Japan, probably one, and then London, England.
And what was the other one?
London, England.
Oh yes.
Yeah, London, England, because you know, those two particular. I mean, there's other countries that love music big, but you know, the Japanese people and the British people are an amazing music lovers. I mean, it's just, and I know that because I've been to those countries. I played there, and they just, yeah, the support is just wonderful. I love it. Yeah.
Well, and it's not only you that has this really big bio, but also your band. I know that your I think it was the drummer works with a number of contemporary, like current artists. And who are you bringing the same group with you when you come this time?
Yeah, well, maybe a couple of guys. Although these guys are pretty, you know, amazing too. The drummer that I'll be using this time, he's worked with me before, but he works with Bruce Hornsby. He's done. Oh man, I can't. Oh God, it's just I can't even remember. But I know currently he is definitely working with Bruce Hornsby, and he does a lot of the American Idol touring with that situation. And the bass player that I'm using, Andrew Ford, he works with a lot of amazing people. Barry Manilow, Lee Ritenour, Chris. There's a bunch of them. I can't off the top of my head. I mean, all I can say is that all of them are definitely, you know, seasoned professionals.
No, yeah, and their resumes are quite impressive. Not as impressive as yours, but still quite impressive.
That's very true, Chris. I'm glad you said that's great.
This is actually I'm going to say this is the fourth time that we've had you in the cabaret series. The first time just by yourself, and then two times with, or three times with some of the other performers. What's your? I know that we kind of thrusted you into this, but what is your take on that whole process with those kids, because most of them have been younger people. I think the two ladies that will be performing with you in April are a little older than we've had in the past. But what's your what do you get out of that? Anything? I mean, are we burdening you with this, or is it something that you really enjoy doing?
I love it, Chris. No, and trust me, the burden is not even in the vocabulary here at all. Because again, it's almost a way of sort of giving back. Like I said, I mean, a lot of when I was younger, growing up, and I've had instructors and coaches and teachers and stuff, and they were all so generous to me, and I've learned so much from people. And to this day, I mean, I talk to some of the people that I've actually, because when it gets to my level, it's not really so much as teaching; it's more like coaching, and I still have some of those coaches that I talk to as well, and again, generous with their time. So it's just one of those things that I just love to do, and because young people, I try and give the impression or understanding of what the right thing is to do in terms of performing and dealing with their music, their personal music, and the passion that they have moving forward, going forward. But to answer your question, no, it's not a burden by any means. I absolutely, I love it. I love it. And that's another thing. The guys that I use my band, they have the patience and the wherewithal as well with that, and I make sure of that because they're personal friends of mine actually. Because most of the guys that I've played with there, I've known for a number of years. We've been in different relations and groups and so forth, traveling around. So that's important to me too, to make sure that all of my band members are on the same page with that.
Well, and having sat through the rehearsal process with you, I have noticed that exact same thing. Everybody who's really kind and willing to work with these people and encouraging. And I think you're right. That's really key. Growing up, wanting to be a performer, wanting to perform, it's not always. I guess it's a little threatening. But then when you find somebody of your stature who is willing to say, no, relax, take it easy, do this, try this, just have fun with it. It really takes sort of a burden off of your shoulders, and you can actually they can go out and just have fun and perform, which I think is amazing. And you are so gentle with them and kind. It's really appreciated. I believe you've talked to we have Sarah Harnden and Jessica Lombard, who actually has performed for us a couple of times with her group Lacey. Have you had a chance to talk to them?
Yes, I have, and they seem very very nice young ladies. I know with their music what they're going to be doing, so we're getting that organized for them, and I think it's going to be great. Sarah, I don't know, for some reason, I guess based on what they've heard me do, they kind of like, well, I want to do this a little jazzier this way, my song. And then I said, okay, that's kind of neat, that's cute. But so yeah, no, they seem very very nice young ladies, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, man. And I told them. We can music together. I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was just going to say, when people whether it's with other performers or just by yourself, when people come to a Joel Gaines concert, what do you hope that they take away from it?
Fun and good music. Because I've been in business for a lot of years now, and you listen to the radio, and the landscape of music today is at a very interesting point, I think. And I try and just play good music so people enjoy that and have a great time and just fun and enjoy the young people and the guys in my band as well, and just have an extraordinary time. That's my take on that. That's what I love.
Well, I do know they do that, because everyone who comes to our cabaret often requests that we bring you back, and they all say what a wonderful time they have. So it's great that you do that. If you had a chance to go back in time, would you want to continue with piano, or would you go back to the trombone?
Oh no, piano. I'd have to say, and you know, I might get some, you know, some feedback on this, but the piano is the master instrument. So, having said that, I don't know. No, that's kind of a joke, but no, it's like Miles Davis. I'm sure you know who Miles Davis is. Incredible artist musician. His one of his comments to Herbie Hancock at one time was when he was referring to the piano. He said it's all there, and he meant, you know, the orchestra is right there, everything's right there. And you know, I don't know. Some people don't. Just one little bit of information. Some people don't realize this. For example, like all of your conductors that conduct all symphony orchestras and things of that nature, these are all accomplished pianists, all of them.
Didn't know that.
Yes, absolutely. They're all accomplished, because when you look at a score, a musical score, in a lot of ways, it almost resembles piano music when you're looking at piano music. You know, all the different instruments. For example, John Williams. I know we all know John Williams. You know, Star Trek and all those things. John Williams worked his way through college playing jazz piano years ago. Yeah, so he's a fine pianist, and so in most people, and even if you go to college or any institution of higher learning when it comes to music, conservatory, you have to have a certain amount of piano proficiency before you can graduate. That's every student. Doesn't matter if you play a flute, you know, whatever, trombone, whatever, oboe. Yeah. So it's an important instrument. So if I went back to I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't change a thing. I'd still be a piano player because I love it too. I mean, maybe some people, they love their instruments, you know, the saxophone, the guitar, but I absolutely love the piano. I just, it's amazing. Yeah.
And do you see yourself ever pursuing conducting?
I would love to at some point. I mean, you know, I had an opportunity. I was guest conductor with the National Symphony with Marvin Hamlish once. This has been a few years ago. Yeah, you know, because I'm not that old, Chris. You know that, right?
No, I was going to say you don't. No, you. I don't know how old you are, but I can tell you that you are younger than me.
Yeah, I don't know. That could be debatable. But no, all joking aside, yeah, that was a beautiful thing. The National Symphony, man, they're amazing. Of course, Marvin Hamlish, you know, one person who passed away, but he was genius, Marvin. That's one reason why he was music director for Barbra Streisand for so many years. Because, I don't know if you know about Barbara, but she's definitely a perfectionist when it comes to it.
Now, growing up, did you have an idol that you looked up to, somebody that you wanted to emulate, or somebody's music that you wanted to emulate?
Yeah, actually, I did, Chris. Burt Bacharach was my. I still love him. I think, you know, he's like in the 80s now, but I mean, in terms of music, the quality of his music, um, you know, the piano player, songwriting, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, I can remember years ago where I, you know, was studying in TV, and then I couldn't wait for his specials to come on television. You know, like what he did with the orchestra, and it was just amazing. And again, I'm a fan for life. I love his music today.
Nice, nice. And having been through as much as you've been through the music industry, what's some of the changes that you've seen, good or bad, that you've noticed in the industry?
Well, it's I don't know. That's a good. Wow, that's a good question. I think in some ways it's good, some ways it's bad. Technology has come in, and it's in a lot of ways it's sort of leveled the playing field, because, you know, so many people can do music now that couldn't do it before because technology is supported that. Uh, I don't. I think that has been um, a problem with the creative aspect of music now because, like I said, everything is a lot of stuff is computer based, and it's not really bringing out to me. That's just my opinion. It's not bringing out the natural talent in a lot of people.
Well, as somebody once said to me, it's putting the tools of the professionals in the hands of the amateurs.
Yes, absolutely.
The person that said that was my brother, who's a master for sound master, and that the computer has basically leveled his industry because now anyone can master their own work, but not nearly as good as somebody else can do it.
Oh, absolutely. And, that's an art in itself, man. I mean, I understand that because my first CD mastering was mastered by a guy by the name of Bernie Grundman. And your brother would know Bernie.
Yeah, he actually worked for Bernie Grumman for a while.
Yeah, because Bernie was top, creme de la creme, at one time. And, the Bernie people are almost no more.
Yeah.
It's that commentary because these mastering engineers are amazing people. I mean, it's definitely something that a lot of time with the craft and everything. It's like a musician, man. And yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, he's absolutely right about that statement.
Yeah. So, if there are any young people out there listening to this that want to pursue a career in music, what piece of advice would you give them?
I mean, if you really want to pursue music, I would definitely say music is a knowledge based profession, which a lot of people don't really think so, but it really is. I'd say go to some kind of school, learn an instrument. Learn an instrument. I don't care which one it is. Learn an instrument because that's so important because it gives you the understanding and the discipline of being a better musician all around. Because when you have to practice like I do, I still practice, Chris, every day. Every day. When you have to practice and spend time, it makes you a better person, a better musician, and like I said, the discipline aspect of it. Like I said, to me, all around it makes you a better person. We're all in this world and the reflection on society at large. So we need to, be better people. And I think if you spend some time with something that's going to help you you can help other people in other ways that you can't really even imagine, man, in my opinion. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Joel, thank you so much for your time. I certainly do appreciate it. And again, we will look forward to seeing you April 5th and 6th at the Nakano Theater for one of our studio cabarets. And yeah, I appreciate it. You're truly a gem in this industry, and I do appreciate all your time and effort and working with the other performers.
Thank you so much, Chris, and I appreciate you and the Torrance Cultural Arts Foundation. You guys are doing a fabulous job over there, and you Sharon and all the people, and I really, really, I mean, seriously, it's like my home, second home, my first home over there.
Well, thanks. We appreciate it, and we will look forward to seeing you soon.
Likewise, everybody come out and have a great time. Okay.
Thanks.